Hi, everybody. Coming up on, let's see here, 9:46 right now. We are watching the tropics, watching Idalia right now. Winds are at 70 miles per hour. This is set to become a major Category 3 hurricane and make landfall in Florida by tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. Let's get right to the conversation, please. If you can do me a favor, I've got the chat up right now, too. I want to know where you're watching from right now. If you're watching from Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Asheville, or maybe you're watching along the coast right now. We've got a strengthening hurricane likely at our next update, and maybe some of you are watching from the coast right now. I know a lot of you are following from Florida. We need to let you know that, hey, things are about to get really dangerous as we go into tomorrow. And there's the possibility this track tries to shift a little bit. So please stay tuned for that and keep checking back for updates. And, of course, stay tuned to local officials. Evacuations are underway in some areas. So it's time to take this storm seriously as we're now about 24 to 36 hours away from it making landfall. And if you haven't already, a good time to please subscribe to my channel. Turn notifications on as soon as there's new alerts, new advisories, anything of that nature. I will let you know, and we'll be tracking them along the way. So here we go with Idalia moving to the north at 8 miles per hour. The intermediate update here from the National Hurricane Center did not offer much change with it other than the pressure dropping to 983. So it's a strong tropical system, and it's getting its core together. It's vertically stacked, and the hurricane hunters are in that storm right now. So it's set to become a Category 3 hurricane. Latest track from the National Hurricane Center would have it moving toward the Big Bend region of Florida as we get into our Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And they upped the wind speed forecast now to 120 miles per hour. That's just shy of a Cat 4. So it is expected to be a very strong hurricane. You really... when you talk about these kind of water temperatures and the fact that this guy meandered around, or gal, I should say, Idalia, meandered around the Caribbean for a day and a half before it decided to start heading north. That just did it right there for it. So 2 hurricane hunter planes are in and around this storm as we speak. They do crisscross, get all kind of different levels in that. These hurricane hunters are a different breed, folks. I mean, they are a different breed flying into a storm like this, in and around, back and through it. This is live data right now coming in. They found pressure at 979, 996. Looks like we got a wind speed there. Where was that wind speed reported at? Let's watch it. Found some pressure, 69 miles per hour wind. So we know it's more than that, but that's just where they're at flying right now. To me, the storm looks stronger. It is certainly getting a more pronounced core, and you can see that developing right now. It looked like we tried to have a little eye wall forming 5, 6, 7 o'clock this evening. That kind of closed up a little bit. It's sitting really close to Cuba right now and trying to fire up right there. So a strong storm churning up a lot of water, 22-foot waves. Folks, can you imagine that? That is incredible to me, just the power that this storm has as it's rolling on through. So again, please let me know where you're watching from. I see Seneca in the house, Spartanburg, Landrum. Thank you guys for watching. Let's talk about the storm surge, because with any landfalling tropical system, we know storm surge and inland flooding are some of the most dangerous things. And in this case, we got to watch that closely, because Cedar Key, where this is expected to make landfall, to Yankeetown, we're talking about 10 plus feet of storm surge possible in these locations. Danger, danger, danger. That means the water is crashing, the storm is pushing inland, and when this coincides with king tides, the lunar tides are, of course, happen to be right about now, could make things a little bit worse. New suite of computer models in, and I think they're a nudge to the right. Latest right here, they're basically all I-95 east now, but that would roll it right through Savannah, right through Charleston, and then kind of hook it just right at you folks in Myrtle Beach. I know some friends are right now at Ocean Lakes. I know you're watching this closely. Should you leave? Should you stay? Certainly looks like there's going to be some impacts Wednesday and Wednesday evening, but by Thursday, I mean, you're looking at much better weather moving on in. So please make the decision that's best for your family. You just want to be really careful in these type situations. As we look at this closely, our 3 main reliable computer models, the European, the Canadian, and the GFS are in. The Europeans, by far the farthest to the east, And I wouldn't be surprised if the National Hurricane Center's track maybe jogs a little bit to the east. The European's been very consistent in saying, no way, this thing's going way east. And in fact, let's see if I have that here. I do. Check this out. This is the European Ensemble. This is 51 different runs of the European. And basically all of them have this thing going right out over water. So basically it would make landfall in Cedar Key, move up toward the north, and then just south of Savannah, you're probably talking Richmond Hill south, maybe as far south as Brunswick, but it jogs back out to sea and, kind of grazes the coast with that west wind coming in there like this. Boom. Like that. So again, that's a different wind than coming in from the south. It would certainly try to be a little bit weaker in that case, with it being on the west side. But at the same time, it's back out over water, so it would have the potential to begin to try to develop. So, hey, a lot to talk about. Simply put, let's go over it minute by minute here, hour by hour, state by state. Okay, here it is tomorrow, getting its act together. The models really have it blowing up tomorrow, really between noon and then all the way up through landfall. So beginning tomorrow at noon, it's out over the Gulf of Mexico, 8 a.m. through about noon to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. here, it's likely a major Category 3 hurricane at that point. Here it is. Our latest high-resolution model wants to say, Tampa, you need to be watching out, all right? And we saw this with Ian. I'm not saying Tampa's going to get a direct hit here, but certainly I have more concerns than I did for Tampa northbound. And the reason why is the stronger this thing's getting, the more it's going to want to lean to the right, lean to the east. So you can't discount this thing going near Tampa, okay? I just want to go ahead and put that out there. This thing has it moving towards Cedar Key. I mean, wow. You're not talking by much here. But the latest landfall here from the high-resolution computer model shows it near Cedar Key early on Wednesday morning, and then it races up through Jacksonville. Hilton Head, you're getting in on some heavy rain and some strong winds at that point, and then it's pushing through Charleston, Myrtle Beach. You start to see conditions go downhill. Really, the morning is fine on Wednesday for Myrtle Beach, but past noontime, it really gets hard and heavy with just driving rain, strong winds. It's pushing up, and then it's pushing out to where by midnight Wednesday, the core's back out over water. It's just breezy and drying out across the Carolinas to where we're looking fine overnight Wednesday into Thursday. And then when you wake up Thursday, waking up to a much different kind of day. Let's run that same computer model through again, however, with wind speeds and not the rain. So here we are. Look at that eye wall. I mean, that is just absolutely terrifying. That is a terrible, terrible storm right there. Cedar Key, 80-plus mile-per-hour winds by the time we get to 5 a.m. Landfall would put it around 112 mile-per-hour winds. And again, this is farther east and south than a lot of our computer models like the European, the GFS are showing. All right, let's move up to Georgia. Georgia, your impacts begin. 77 mile-per-hour winds for Jacksonville, 55 for St. Mary's. And then you got Savannah, Hilton Head, Charleston, 30, 40 mile-per-hour winds. And then it just continues to chug offshore. At this point, it's probably starting to get stronger because it's pushing up. And here you are, 50, 60 mile-per-hour winds. So rainfall totals with this could be significant along the coast. We're talking 8, 9, 10 inches of rain possible in a very short period of time. So that could certainly cause some flooding. The onshore flow could cause the high tides to be extra high, especially when you're talking about a lunar high tide. So Myrtle Beach down toward Charleston can certainly experience that. And you're talking about 10 inches of rain, folks. That is a tremendous amount of rain in a short period of time. The 2 to 3 inches you see across the upstate, that's from the front itself that's over us tonight and tomorrow with scattered downpours. Again, not everybody's going to see the rain. Some of you didn't get rain today at all, while some of you got 2 to 3 inches, okay? So it's feast or famine. Let me map it out here for you, because in the western part of the upstate, we're just going to get some rain tonight and tomorrow, and then we're kind of in a lull going into Wednesday morning. But Wednesday afternoon, watch this, heavy rainfall starts to move back in. It could be heavy at times as we go through Wednesday, but it's really I-85 south, and when you look at the rainfall totals, they're pretty meager, half an inch to an inch. So it's some rain on the outskirts. It's also breezy, but then by the time you wake up Thursday, it's gone. Let's look at winds gusts. So it starts getting breezy Wednesday as the day goes on. By the time you get out of school and work on Wednesday, we're talking 15, 20, 25 mile per hour winds. They could be gusting even higher than that at times. All right, so let's look out for tomorrow morning, 72 degrees when you wake up and get out the door. And then we're looking at high temperatures getting in the low 80s with things going downhill on Wednesday for the Carolinas. So what can I help you answer? What are you wondering on this Monday night, about a day before we get to this tropical system rolling through? So Toccoa is getting some pretty crazy storms right now. I see it on radar. You got about 24 lightning strikes right now. Same story for Walhalla. Some heavy rainfall rolling through. Nikki, it's going to be a stormy night for some of you there, okay? Watching from St. Pete, fingers crossed it stays out to sea. Thank you for your updates. Absolutely. Thank you for watching. Brittany says, I'm watching in Myrtle Beach. Be safe. 60, 70 mile per hour gusts certainly possible for you. Lindsay, any severe weather tonight? No, there will be some thunder and lightning tonight, but I don't expect severe weather. Is the upstate getting storms or just rain? Crystal, probably just some gusty winds and some rain, but nothing severe from Idalia. Any severe weather from the cold front? Corey Williams, we could certainly see some rain. I don't expect to see severe weather out of that. Brandon, Thursday is looking like we'll still be below 80 degrees. I didn't any excuse. Brandon, looks like it's 72 to 76. 72 was the forecast high yesterday. Some of the models are showing 74, some are showing 76, but either way, we're in the 70s. Room temperature. Heavy rain in Blue Ridge right now. How far inland can we go to keep the dogs safe? You want to get away from the coast if you're right there in Florida. You want to go inland at least 10, 20 miles to get away from the worst of it there. Sometimes some places more. Just bought at Ocean Lakes in May. Thoughts? Ocean Lakes is certainly getting at 60, 70 mile per hour winds. Could have some downed trees, but the worst of it will certainly be south of Myrtle Beach. Could have some flooding. It's going to be a mess there for a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't have too much beach erosion. When will the updated track come in? We get another track at 11 o'clock. We'll also have another track at 5 a.m. and then 11 a.m. We're watching from Colorado, but supposed to fly back to Orlando Friday, hoping things are back to normal in that area. Will Orlando be greatly impacted? Eric, it's going to be rough Wednesday in Orlando. Probably some severe, really tomorrow through Tuesday night into Wednesday. But it's about 24 hours of rough weather, then Orlando will be all right. The worst of it's going to be northwest of Orlando. All right? How high are the wind gusts? Will they be safe for buses? Probably no issue with the buses. It could get a little gusty, mainly in the evening hours of Wednesday evening. What about tornadoes for Ocean Lakes? Brittany, Ocean Lakes, while you could get a spin-up tornado, the threat looks to be a little bit farther out to sea for tornadoes. There you go. How will Myrtle Beach be? 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, as much as 5 to 6 inches of rain. Could have that coincide with high tide, so we need to watch out for that very closely. Dana, thank you for all that you do to keep us safe and informed. You're very welcome. Thomas, how is Aiken, South Carolina, Augusta, Tuesday, Wednesday? Not an impact in Atlanta, but we might have some thunderstorms too. Atlanta's certainly going to get some rain out of it, but more from the front itself. It'll get breezy, but you're kind of to the west. Shouldn't give you too much in the way of impacts. There you go. So, folks, when do you expect a new track, and how is Sanford doing? New track comes out at 11, and so far it looks like the worst of it's going to be north and west of Sanford. All right, you can tune into our friends at West, too. Of course, they'll keep you posted. And if you haven't already, folks, if you're just now new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. Give me a like. Let me know where you're watching from. That helps me out with forecasting what we're looking at here. In this case, I see a strengthening storm. I see a hurricane likely by the 11 o'clock update. And I see a storm that's going to be one to contend with as we go into tomorrow. As it gets closer, some of those outer bands could provide for tornadic activity. And then we're going to see things really ramp up as we go into Wednesday. Wednesday it rolls through the Carolinas and Georgia, and then it's out of here by Thursday. We're going to be the 70s for highs on Thursday, 70 for highs on Friday, and then Saturday's highs are back to the low 80s, but low humidity all the way through Labor Day weekend. It does get closer to 90, though, by Sunday, Monday. So that's the way things are shaping up right now, folks. Make sure you tune in to WYFF News 4 at 11 o'clock, coming up in 59 minutes. Nigel in Sydney is in for Carol. We will have the latest on Idalia and all the latest news from today. And I want to encourage you folks, if you can, please keep checking back in for updates. The great way to do that is downloading our WYFF4 mobile app. It'll alert you when there's warnings, when there's watches. If you're on the go, it follows your GPS there. So it kind of triggers those alerts for where you're at, not where you usually are. Okay, so it's a very useful tool when traveling or on vacation as well. All right, guys, have a safe night, and I will have another